Memphis, good to have you on the show, man. So we've got a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Are you going the 108 or the 201 and the 202? Go ahead, man.
With no context, I am going the 108. There is a pretty elite 108 top 8 options given this format. If you told me, if I had some context and you told me you were in a rebuild and needed a lot of pieces, I'm totally fine with the 201 and 202 because you could get a quarterback there and a wide receiver. So maybe you could get 2 pieces. But this top 8 with the 3 wide receivers, Brock Bowers, and then the 4 quarterbacks, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, makes sense. Like you said, and if it's a really deep format, maybe you could see the 201 and 202. Let me ask you this, Memphis, while this is on the screen. Have you seen 201s and 202s moved for a 25 first or a 26 first? Do you see that in your leagues?
This year, yes, but like I've made that trade in the past. I kind of consider it dynasty buying on credit, right? Like you want to go buy a new TV for the Super Bowl, you don't have the cash, so you just use the credit card, pay it off next month. That's what I do. If there's a player that I'm in love with at the 201 or 202, I'll give you my 25 first, because I've got almost a full calendar year to recoup that 25 first. That's the first thing. The second thing is if it's a player I really like, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. In 201, 202 this year, we've already done a bunch of drafts with our patron leagues.
Sure.
And that's a lot of Bo Nix. So if you're like if you're at 108 and you're considering JJ McCarthy, like maybe he's the best option there, I have no problem trading out for the 201 and 202 and getting Bo Nix and probably Jonathan Brooks at that spot, maybe a wide receiver, but yeah, so that's a good spot to be in. But I think if you're going to make that trade for the 2 additional picks, you want to do it before you're on the 108 staring down the barrel of JJ McCarthy.
I was smirking when you were saying Bo Nix because, excuse me, I had to clear my throat. Scott made Shane and myself aware that the Podfather, who we were just talking about before we went live, said that if Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones had a baby, it would be Bo Nix. But it sounds like you're a fan, huh?
I'm a fan of the opportunity. I don't have all of them in front of me, but Sean Payton, pretty good offensive coach, and he took a 2nd-round quarterback once before named Drew Brees. And I'm not saying Bo Nix is Drew Brees. That's not what I'm saying. But he took the guy with the less than stellar arm, who was accurate. Drew Brees threw a ton of checkdowns. He threw a lot of slants. He threw a lot of short to intermediate stuff, and Sean Payton is a disciple. He was mentored by Bill Parcells, and Bill Parcells had this certain set of 4 rules for his quarterbacks, and I know 3 of them top of my head. You needed to have played 3 years as a starter, which Bo Nix is. You had to be a graduate, which Bo Nix will. You had to have 23 wins. And there was one other criteria, and Bo Nix
23 wins, huh?
Yeah, 23 or 28, but whatever. Like if you could just Google Bill Parcells quarterback draft rules, you'll find it. And Bo Nix meets every single one. There's no competition. Like you could get a redshirt year with both Drake May and JJ McCarthy, whereas Bo Nix could play this year. And yeah, the range of let's be honest, Clay. We'll be real honest. If the ceiling for this guy is Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff, then the floor is Kenny Pickett, but that's okay. Sure. Yeah. That's okay, because if he could be a guy who
crack at Cousins.
No, it's not. Cousins is like when healthy, the perpetual QB8.
No, I mean saying not cracking on Cousins. Take a crack at getting.
Yes, taking a crack at getting the next Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins here on Dynasty.
Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, and now Dak has always been on the back end of that QB1 range, but guys like Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins perennially, they are guys that are going at QB2 prices in Dynasty that just year in, year out, when healthy, give you QB1 points. It's the damnedest thing. Bo Nix could be in that vein.
Let's go to 3 hammers from B.
It's a lot of hammering.
That's a lot of hammering. So what this is this is how we do our super chats now.
Sure.
Instead of on YouTube, we do buymeacoffee.com/trades-in-5. You can get your trade answered on a live stream. We
There you
happen
go.
to be joined tonight by Memphis from Dynasty Warzone. What an OG of this freaking community, man. We've
Is that,
got
is that like a nice way of saying that I'm
you're
old?
old. Yeah. His forearms look like a war graph. If there's anybody who's gonna be on here to do a hammer stream,
Yeah.
Memphis is a fit. There we go. So B, thank you for the hammers. We have a 10-team Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for the tight ends. Start 11. Mahomes, Lamar, and Baker. At running back, we have Bijan, Barkley, Eckler, Algier, and trash cans. JJ, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Ayuk, Flowers, and then has, what is this?
Evans, Mike Evans.
Oh, Mike Evans. Who is Evans? An awesome wide receiver. And then Andrews and Kelsey at tight end has the 106, a 25 first, and 226 first. Okay, so he's got some off-season moves thus far. And let's remember that it's a pretty shallow format here. 10-team, half PPR, start 11. So we're going to go one by one. Sent Diggs, Pittman, the 103. Received JJ, Mike Evans, the 106, 110, and a 25 first. Okay. Diggs, Pittman, 103, and a couple other pieces apparently. Got Jefferson, Evans, 106, 110, 25. What am I missing here? What am I missing here, Memphis? Are you not?
No, I'm reading along, and if I'm interpreting this the way that you're reading this, B might want to get out of town for a while, avoid the cops, because this is like grand larceny. He's committed a crime. I mean, I love the
You're
one
getting Jefferson in 3 firsts.
Yeah,
and Mike Evans.
And Mike Evans going into what, year 9 or 10? That's notwithstanding, but to only move back to the 106. And I like Pittman. I like Pittman quite a bit. I'm an Indianapolis resident. The Colts are my squad. So on a points per game basis, there is a decent sized gap between Pittman and Jefferson, and Diggs and Evans. Given their age, they're both around 30. Clearly, Justin Jefferson's better than Pittman. But then it comes down to the 103, and you got the 103. You gave that up. You got the 106, the 110. You got 3 firsts, basically, even if everything else is equal. If Diggs and Pittman, Jefferson and Evans are just dead nut even, that means you got the 106, the 110, and a future first for the 103. And the 103 in the leagues that I've been in, you're looking at either Jaden Daniels or Malik Neighbors. Sometimes Marvin Harrison Jr. can be there at 3. But at 6, you're going to get a quarterback of your own there. Maybe someone double taps a quarterback early, and that pushes a Dunze to you there. It's a tight end premium. You might go Bowers.
He's probably choosing between Bowers and a QB at 106 if he's forced to pick. I cut you off there a little bit. You said would like to move AJ Brown, I think, for a younger wide receiver and future picks. Let me address that first part, though. So he says choosing between Bowers and a QB at 106. This is a 10-team Superflex, half PPR, already has Mahomes, Lamar, and Baker. I'm not touching quarterback with that 106. No way. So I would be using it on Bowers, or let's see, does he even need it? Bowers got Andrews and Kelsey.
He really needs a running back. And that's not a shot at Barkley, but I know everybody's excited for Barkley going to Philadelphia, but we know that Hurts is going to vacuum out double-digit touchdowns from the 1-yard line. Tush push for a reason. Austin Eckler, I don't know what that looks like. Tyler Algier and then trash cans. I mean, if I'm moving AJ Brown and I love Ayuk, so you're in good shape. I would be looking to move AJ Brown for a comparable running back because you are so deep at wide receiver already. You're probably going to get a wide receiver at 106. I think I'm trying to get. Can I get Rashad White in a future first?
Yeah, or like Achan and a good piece or something like that.
I'm not for AJ Brown. I mean, I like Achan's fine, but. They've added Jalen Wright and they extended Raheem Mostert until he's 40. So I don't know what Achan's role is, but we're on the same path. And
Right.
then you use that 110, given the format of the league. Maybe you like Trey Benson more than Jonathan Brooks. I'm a Jonathan Brooks guy, but that's totally cool. And then that way you turned A.J. Brown into a couple of starters at your most efficient area because, again, Kelsey, Andrews, Lamar. I mean, you're not only that, but you're
This is
running
a
stacks.
horse.
Yeah, you're running stacks, right?
Yes, yes.
You're
Now with
stacking.
Evans too,
Yeah,
even Baker as the QB3. He's got,
yeah,
Evans
yeah.
is the stack now.
He's in.
Yeah.
So B minus here is in really good shape. So if you're going to move AJ Brown, I'm looking to pick up some additional running backs.
Yeah, no, I dig it. He said he was trying to trade into 101 or 102 for Marvin, but no luck. I would just say 106. I'm not looking at Bowers or quarterback because you already have Andrews, Kelsey, and then the 3 aforementioned quarterbacks, and it's a 10-teamer. Okay, thank you very much. We have Thomas. Here's another one, Memphis. Ed, Thomas and I have been exchanging emails. I could have sworn I hit his yesterday. Tommy C, but that it was not him. But we're hitting it right now. Thank you for the hammers. Thank you for the patience. This is an 8-team, start 11, 2 quarterback, half PPR. You start 2 tight ends, and it looks like it's full PPR for the tight ends. So small tight end premium. Your quarterbacks are Allen, T-Law, Watson. Running backs, Bijan, JT, Ramondre, Eckler, Aaron Jones. And then at wide receiver, CD, Diggs, Keenan, Amari. Pitts and Joku at tight end. Pick-wise, 101. It's always nice to see. 104, 202, 203, 206, and a 25 first. He says, I was like, hold back the taco burp. Team took a hit with Diggs, Keenan, Eckler changing squads. What to do with the picks? Caleb's in a loaded offense now with Dunze, but Marv in Arizona is spicy. Also, does T-Law getting BTJ wants you to hold? Okay, so let's do this first. He's also got an inbox trade. So we're going to look at this inbox trade first. And you know what that means. So again, it's an 8-team, start 11, 2 QB, 2 tight end. Give T-Law, get Dak and the 108. Let's start with that one.
I want to skip ahead because I'm looking at the second one. The second one I do not like.
So the second one is give the 101, get Tyreek the 106 and a 25 first. He says, given the makeup of my team, should I do either one or both? Why don't you like the second one?
Tyreek's almost 30. And even though he's played great at the 106, he's not going to get like the wide receiver that he really wants or needs. He's probably, again, he's Roma Dunze, Brock Bowers. I am very intrigued by that first one, even though it is an 8-teamer. If I told you for the next 3 seasons, on a week in, week out basis, Dak and Trevor Lawrence scored the exact amount of fantasy points, are you shocked?
Not even a little bit. That's practically a free 108.
That's exactly where I'm going. It's a free 108. So whether that's another wide receiver, maybe because given the format, again, running backs are, the shallower the league, it feels like the more you want to be deeper at running back. So if you want to reach for a running back there, so all you've done by going Dak in the 108 is because you got to stop looking at names and looking at points per game. Your points per game didn't change except whatever you get with the 108's a free roll. That's why I like that one. You've already got T-Law, because I think the ceiling for Caleb Williams is probably like T-Law plus. He doesn't have a ton of rushing. Actually, Trevor Lawrence runs quite a bit if you really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's no Lamar Jackson or anything, but he's a pretty mobile guy.
For
so
sure.
I like the Dak 108 trade because I just see it from a points per game standpoint. I'm free rolling on that 108, and if you hit, now you're really set up for success.
Definitely. And the 108, since it's a 2 QB, 2 tight end, there's going to be a nice player sitting there at 108 because all of the quarterbacks may be gone. I guess I don't know what the league economy is, but go ahead.
So, given the two tight end format, mm-hmm. I'm in a league just like this. And when we were at the Draft House with Player Profiler, I asked this question to Theo Grimminger and Josh Larkey. I'm like, hey, I'm in a league where it's tight end premium, must start 2 tight ends, and it's 2.0 tight end premium. how high would you guys be willing to draft Brock Bowers? Now, Theo, it's not really fair. Theo will try to give you a case to take Bowers 101 regardless
Sure.
of format. But Larky's like, given that format and how hard a good tight end is to find, he's like, I don't blame you if you take Brock Bowers as high as 102. So
No, in a start two tight end 2.0, if people haven't played, take that start two tight end out of it. If people haven't played in a 2.0 tight end premium, just look at the numbers in terms
it's
of
rough.
what they score 1,000,000 points and you're flexing tight ends. So yeah, I mean, even with the Raiders landing spot, there's, some people were barfing, some people are now like, okay with it, but he's a horse. Yeah, he could go as early. I mean, I wouldn't blame anybody for taking him 102. Okay, so where are we at on this though? So we liked the get yourself some Dak and the free 108.
If that was my team and I had those to choose from, that would be what I personally would take.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one thing with the 101. I get it that it's not the kind of trade you want to do, maybe. Yeah, you're getting Tyreek. I guess it's what you can do with that 106 and the 25 first. You're putting more work on yourself. I guess just bird in hand taking that first one. And then let me know, Thomas. Send me an email. All right. Hey, Memphis, what's going on in your life? What's going on at Player Profiler, Dynasty Warzone? What's going on with you, man? It's been a long time. I met you like 4 years ago or something.
It was a while ago. I don't know. I never really count the years of a friendship, but what's going on, man? A lot's going on at Player Profiler. I want to do more. I just, in my day job, super busy right now. Other commitments, but we do the Dynasty Warzone. We stream live every Sunday night on the Player Profiler network and our own network. That's the Dynasty Warzone. And I just ask everybody to, if you're a YouTube subscriber or a podcast subscriber, whatever you enjoy, just subscribe to both channels. And it's not that you'll miss me or Jerry or, our show. It's that you'll miss guys like Dallas Hyder and Jesse Schneeman and Chad Mendoza and all the guys that host other shows on just our network. You miss out on those guys. And just as like a little plug, Dallas back in October was telling people you want to be in on Ben Sinnott. I always want to say Sinnott, but he's like, you want to be in on him. And here it is 7-8 months later after Dallas made that prediction. And here we are. So we have shows, at least 2 shows a week, sometimes 3. And but you can find us on Player Profiler. As far as Player Profiler, we just got back from the draft house. The Podfather had this ginormous house on the lake and just outside of Detroit, and it was
he would, wouldn't he?
Podfather is. I'm not going to kill off his gimmick, but the Podfather is an amazing guy, and it was an amazing time. So I'll just leave it at that.
Nice. All right, so let's move to Lounge Lizard here with the hammer. So he says this is a pay to brag. So we back in the day when we were still doing super chats, if people were asking questions from the audience and their team was just bonkers, be like, listen, you got to pay us $5 if you want us to answer this question. So
It's
Lounge
reasonable.
Lizard did it. Yeah, it's reasonable. Lounge Lizard did it. This is a 10-team start 9 half PPR, so definitely shallow. Won the title last year. Good for you. Hoping to run the table for a few years. Lamar, Burrow, Herbert at quarterback. CMC, Brees, Rashad White, B-Rob. Then has Tyreek, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Nico. Has Hawk, and then the 104, 5, and 10. He said trade completed. Gave Nico 104, 105, 110. Got Josh Allen 25 first, and a 26 first. Excuse me. Would you now trade one of those QBs for Chase or Jefferson? Should I just relax? Where do I go from here? Okay, so just reminding everyone, it's a 10-team Superflex start 9 half PPR, so shallow. He gave Nico the 104, 105, 110. Got Josh Allen a 25 first and a 26 first.
He's doing great. Can you go back to his quarterbacks again?
Yeah,
I know he had Herbert,
Lamar, and Burrow.
This will be the unpopular opinion. I would move Joe Burrow there, and I would understand if you moved Herbert to get Chase, so you could have that Burrow Chase stack week in, week out. But I would rather move Burrow and get like Jefferson. Burrow just does not offer the rushing upside. I know there's a lot of concern about Herbert with the Jim Harbaugh offense, and there's this perception that's going to drive down his production. So you may not get as much for Herbert. I think Joe Burrow still carries a ton of value out there. And now you have Josh Allen. You have literally the two of the best three rushing quarterbacks in the entire league.
Yeah.
Because the only one that you don't have is Jalen Hurts. And I think from a touchdown standpoint, he's on Lamar and Allen's tier. But like on an overall rushing yard, I think you have the two best actual rushing quarterbacks in the league. And you love that. And you're so deep because in the shallower leagues, it's less, especially start 9, 10, it's less about the quote unquote depth that helps you in like the 12-team leagues where you're starting 10. And in these leagues, you've done a good job. And this is what's setting you up for success is that you have good young talent and a good mixture of some older talent but they're all studs, like the wide receiver 1 or 2, depending on your, and then the 3 or 4. I mean, you're just an embarrassment of riches.
That's what's interesting here, and it has got me thinking of like theory and all of this stuff in the back end here. But why did he trade for Josh Allen? Could you have given Nico the 4, 5, and 10, and
I mean, he
tried to get him. I mean, what do you think about like the horde move? Because in a shallow format like this, you can just completely stranglehold, I suppose, the league. But what are your thoughts there?
I don't think that. And given the format and what he has already done, or she, Lounge Lizard, is kind of whatever, gender neutral. So what have you? But again, you have all the premium pieces. The only thing that I would do, their final question was, "What's next?" The one thing I would do is I'd be looking to get a tight end. In case TJ Hawkinson is slow going coming back. He tore at least 1, if not 2 ligaments, and he did it like in late November, early December. And the positive news for the Lounge Lizard is that a guy who's older than him, Zach Ertz, came back from a very similar injury, and he started the 2023 season. So there is a history or a comp to a precedent is the word I'm looking for, a precedent for him to, but I would be looking for like a young tight end just in case, because that's where you don't want to fall behind. You don't want to fall behind, get a bad seed going into the playoffs, and then maybe get a tougher matchup a week or two before you got. But you literally $5 to show off your team. Good for you. I salute. God bless.
Yeah. No, he's just slinging stuff around, grabbing Josh Allen too. It's just
I'll just go get the best quarterback. In
Dynasty.
He's been like QB1 3 of the last 5 years or something, and never been worse than like QB2.
You watch him play, and you're like, he is huge out there. He's such a big boy.
I don't want to jinx him, and it'll be my fault. Then you guys can come back and hate me. But he is the same size as Cam Newton and Big Ben Roethlisberger. But man, those guys started like aging quickly. And that would be the one thing. Like I wasn't prepared to talk negatively or just like put like a little thing out there. But I don't know. He's just, his style of play is not a long lasting style of play.
It can't be. It shouldn't be, right? But
but you could say the same thing for Tyreek Hill. He is such. I mean, we and this word is so tired and overused, generational. But like from a physical, clearly Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback we've seen, maybe ever. I mean, pretty good trajectory so far. And I know Tom Brady. So I get it, but Josh Allen may be like that physical unicorn that we just may never see again. I mean, big, strong, fast, avoids injury, scores points, gets them with his legs. as a Colts fan, Andrew Luck was a big guy. Like you see
Mhm.
quarterbacks, but like Andrew
Definitely.
Luck was a big
Isn't he like
man.
6'5", like
Like
240
yeah,
or
he was
something? He was big dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was that was exactly in that range, like 6'4", 6'5", 240. That's a big human. To put that in perspective, that's like power forward in the NBA size. I mean, that's a big dude.
That's a big dude. So Drew Sorensen music from the chat earlier put in here Braylon Allen smash. And I swear he put Braylon Allen in one of the comments on one of our other YouTube videos as well. So he's putting it out there. Drew Sorensen music's putting it out there. What do you think about Braylon Allen, Memphis? I still have not drafted a single one yet.
Well, if you like fourth round running backs, Braylon Allen so far, from what I've seen at ADP, is your guy. But all these running backs, I'm of the belief that, and we just saw it with the draft this year, the NCAA is going to give us 10, 15, 20 potential, 25 potential wide receivers drafted in the first 5, 6, 7 rounds of the draft. So there's always going to be wide receivers. But if you're looking for that late flyer to take in your, it's Braylon Allen. That's fine. I mean, I know Breece Hall's the starter there, but you never know when he may be called into duty. And here's the thing: if Braylon Allen's sitting on the back end of your roster and something happens to Breece Hall again, all of a sudden you can turn that 403 that you may draft Braylon Allen at, you may be able to turn him into a 25 second. And then when he goes the way of Dameon Pierce, you made out like a bandit.
For sure. Do me a favor while I'm thinking about this and
Sure.
clean up this this little pocket of running backs.
Okay.
Asking for a friend and asking for many friends, I
Sure.
imagine. But Will Shipley,
Uh-huh.
you've got Ray Davis, you've
Okay.
got Bucky Irving, like that crew that tends to be hanging out there, ready for you to hit draft next to their names. Do you like any of them more than? Go ahead.
I like Bucky Irving, but what I don't like about Bucky Irving is that what you want from him is the receptions. Except Rachaad White's one of the best pass catching running backs in the entire league. So that was a horrible landing spot. Like Ray Davis, I mean, I'm not sure I'd let him park my truck, much less be on my dynasty roster. But now let's talk Will Shipley. Let's talk Will Shipley for a minute. I like Zamir White. Zamir White's been a very popular buy. I'm sure you guys have had a lot of Zamir White questions on Dynasty Trades in 5. But what Zamir White has yet to, doesn't mean he can't, but what he has yet to show thus far in his career as a pass catching profile, Will Shipley has. I think it was Josh Larkey who posted, like, for his career, Zamir White has like 195 yards receiving, and Will Shipley had one game with like 297 yards receiving. So this guy's a very good pass catching quarterback. I can tell you from getting to watch Gardner Minshew up close and personal for a year as a Colts fan, he's not afraid to check down to the running back. And even Justin Fields last year in this Luke Getsy offense checked down quite a bit to the running back. So I know we like Brock Bowers. I know we like Devontae Adams. I understand that. But if a guy like Will Shipley ends up being like this is for you older fantasy gamers, like a Danny Woodhead type, a Darren Sproles type, doesn't really do much for you on the ground or at the goal line, but is going to steal you 4 or 5 receptions a week for like 40 yards and is like a like a running back 4 flex option, like especially during bye weeks or injuries, you're going to be glad you had him. So of those 3, it's easily Will Shipley for me.
It's good to hear you say that. I'm on the Will Shipley train for sure. And I'm backing it up with hitting draft, but I think I'm already overexposed on Will Shipley thus far.
He is one of my favorite late round flyers.
The narrative is there, isn't it, Memphis, for how he can? I mean, you can turn a profit. You talked about
styles make fights.
Braylon Allen, yeah,
styles make fights, and that's what they'll tell you in the UFC, and that's why I say what I said about Bucky Irving. His style matches up too much with the incumbent style. It's another reason why I like Braylon, but I don't mind Braylon Allen. His style is different than Breece Hall's. So he's a hammer, right? Speaking of the Hammer podcast, he's a hammer. He's a big old 20-year-old, 240 some odd pound hammer. maybe he gets you some goal line work. But he does something different than the other guy. So that's why I don't mind Braylon Allen either.
Spencer White, thank you for the 3 hammers. Much appreciated. So this one is a 10-team Superflex PPR 1.5 for the tight end, start 11. Said it's a 4-point per passing touchdown and a fairly active league. Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and backups at quarterback. He's got Achane and then NERB on a 53. Downs is the only wide receiver listed. Your boy Downs. McBride at tight ends. Luckily does have the 101, 103, but then has the 109, 201, and he's got 3 other seconds. Does have 325 firsts and a couple seconds as well. Okay. Inbox offer. Send Josh Allen and the 201. You're getting Jefferson and the 104. And again, this is a 10-team super flexed, start 11, 4-point per passing touchdown. You doing this? Sending Josh Allen 201, getting JJ in the 104?
I'm trying to avoid moving Josh Allen. I mean,
it's a 4-point per passing. I mean, he's good in whatever format.
Yeah,
come on.
But our rushing touchdown still 6 points? Because if it is,
yeah,
I would like Josh. Kyler. My counter would be is I would at least have the conversation is maybe you don't get 104 back, but can I give you Kyler and 103 for Jefferson? How about that? How about can I give you Kyler and 103? Now I think that's a little high. Maybe that's too much for some people. I don't know, but I would be looking to move Kyler of the two. Maybe you get Justin Jefferson. I don't know. I think there's a trade there for sure. If this other GM is willing to move Justin Jefferson, I would just prefer not to have Caleb and Kyler because I have more. The only definite of those quarterbacks is Josh Allen. We've seen Kyler be super high. We've seen Kyler be super low, even when healthy. But Josh Allen is the consistent guy. You're in a good spot though. I think you got a ton of picks and
here's the second part. And
okay.
I've gotten really bad about doing this, like leaving the second parts open.
Oh, you're good.
He says 0 startable wide receivers. He just had to list downs. Would you stick and pick Marvin Harrison Jr. Neighbors at 101, 103, tear down off Allen, draft a rookie QB? What would you do? Love the show, guys. Yes, we talked it through. Essentially, if you're going to send Josh Allen away in this format, you need to make it hurt like really, really badly. Like, why are you getting that 201? Why are you getting the 201 from me? And JJ, the 104, and I'm going to need to get your 25 first somehow. I'll give you
and you can
I'll give you a 25 second.
That's the olive branch. But
yeah.
So it's funny that he sent this. I'll share one of my personal trades that I was personally debating. So I made a trade in a league where I acquired Josh Allen, and one of the rebuilding GMs, it feels like he has every first round pick in the book. And he offered me Will Levis, the 102, the 209 for Josh Allen. And I came back with, okay, we're close. I like Will Levis. I want Will Levis, the 102, but I want the 104 instead of the 209. And he was like, I don't know. That's,
so you were going to be getting Levis, the 102 and 104, and you were sending Allen?
That just Allen. And he was like, no, that's way too much for me. Because I won this league the first year. And then last year I got second. It's a 12-team, start 2 tight ends. It's the tight end premium league I was just mentioning. And I got lucky last year to have got second. So I've gotten a full championship payout and then a second place payout. So I'm money ahead in this league. So I have a year or two to start getting younger. I just mentioned how I like Josh Allen, but I don't want to put it out there. But so I'm okay starting to look in like maybe 24 is not for me. Let's retool a little bit. Let's go 25. Because I figured given the format that we know with the 102, I probably would have taken Brock Bowers and then just taken whoever was left between Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. And I know that puts me super thin but that gives me a lot of good young pieces. And like I told this GM, I'm like, we may think that all these guys you could get with Will Levis, the 102, the 104, they could be really good. but Josh Allen is really, really good. So it's how risk adverse are you, and how much
Yeah.
do you like to gamble?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, tearing down essentially from Allen to Levis
It's a
could
bit.
take
It's
some.
I also have Trevor Lawrence in this league, and like I said, I don't mind getting a little bit younger.
Yeah,
And
getting those three pieces. Yeah, because it sounds like you need to refresh a little bit, reload.
yeah, so I would still have, two quarterbacks. If I don't do well in 24, which I probably will not, then it makes my 25 first worth a little bit more. But those are some of the ways that I approach trades and look at rosters.
Let's do this real quick because
Okay.
on this question, it
Oh,
was if you're sticking and picking, are you taking Marv at 101 and then Neighbors at 103 if that's what happens to be there? And let's assume you're not trading Allen away or Murray. The
okay.
answer would be yes in that case, right?
Yeah. I now if the other GM gets squirrely and takes Neighbors at 102, then okay. But yeah, you're doing a very kind favor for no return to the person drafting second because they're going to get Caleb Williams, but that's okay. You don't need Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, there's no guarantee he's able to produce because again, he doesn't have the rushing upside of a Josh Allen or a Kyler Murray. So yeah, stick and pick. You get Marvin Harrison with one because that gives you the stack with Kyler. You see what happens at 2, and if that GM goes Caleb Williams, now you have Malik Neighbors. And I tell you, in the opportunities that I've had to draft between Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison, I've chosen Malik Neighbors twice. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm a Colts fan. His dad has one of my favorite stats in the history of the NFL. He had 8 straight seasons of 1,000+ yards receiving and double-digit touchdowns. No one else. The closest, I think, Antonio Brown in recent history has had like 4. I mean, Marvin Harrison's dad was special. I think Marvin Harrison's special. But I just look at the way the game's played in 2024, and I think Malik Neighbors is that CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson type that's just going to get targets on targets on targets. And even if they're bad targets, like Daniel Jones targets, you can't beat 106.
It's going to be 160 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I'll just take that volume and upside. So yeah, absolutely. Because you have the horses at quarterback. That's the one thing I would just tell your audience. Never feel compelled to take a player just because that's the industry consensus 101. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. It's the Colin Cowherd rake analogy. It's like if your wife sent you to go to the store with $20 to buy groceries, and you come back with a rake because it was half off, normally 40 and it's $20, your wife doesn't care that it's a great value. It wasn't what you needed. That's exactly how I feel about like people feeling like they have to make a pick because the quote unquote value is there. Just get what you need. You'll do fine.
I know there are a lot of others in here that also listen to Memphis. I meant to have some sort of contest built around analogies, not only Memphis, but also Memphis referencing other analogies.
Oh, absolutely,
I totally messed that up.
I'll come back quicker than 14 weeks, and we'll do Corey. First of all, Corey. I see Corey's a supporter of the Hammer Stream. Shout out Corey, man. He comes by every Sunday night. Awesome. He checks out the Dynasty Warzone on Player Profiler. He is a G. No, Jerry was the one sleeping on Lad, not me. I have Lad between 4 and 5. I mean,
talk about him. Talk through some Lad.
Sure. It's just, again, it's the opportunity. Who's he competing with? Quentin Johnston. I think that guy's wearing oven mitts instead of wide receiver gloves. Everything bounces off of his hands. And then I like Josh Palmer. But Josh Palmer's Robin. He's not Batman. Nice complimentary piece. He goes with the team. Ladd McConkey could be this team's Cooper Kupp. This team's Justin Jefferson. Just a guy who we just mentioned it with Malik Neighbors, who will feast on volume, except it's coming from Justin Herbert. That's super duper. He won the situational lottery, and I will not lock into one guy every single time as that 4th wide receiver. I'm going to have a mix of Coleman because he's attached to Josh Allen. I'm going to have a little bit of Xavier Worthy because he's locked in with Patrick Mahomes. And then I'm going to have Ladd. If I had to rank him today, man, that would be super close between Coleman and Ladd 4. But I'm going to put, at least for the short term, Xavier Worthy as like the third of those 3. Because even though Rashee Rice looks to be suspended for half the season, that's the thought that it could be that much. It's half of one season. And Travis Kelce's still there. So you're going to have some shorter term upside with Xavier Worthy. So for me, it's super duper razor close between McConkey and Coleman and then Worthy.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely off ADP. I haven't seen Worthy go behind Coleman and yeah, and Ladd. I also don't have a single Ladd McConkey on my teams yet. I still have like 9 drafts to go, so I'll figure that out.
I was going to say, because I've already done like 17, maybe 15. I'm not. We have 19 patron leagues. I'm not in all 19. I think I'm because like we try to balance it, because like if Jerry and I are in both in every league, as well as our admin Neil, because
Neil still runs all of them, right?
Yeah, dude, Neil's a G, and so like if we put all 3 of us in there, it just squeezes out the number of patrons that can actually participate. So, but yeah, we've already done like 14 drafts, and I've got a little bit of everybody, because this class, this is why I go back to the very first question with the 108. If you're locked into a 108 pick, you got a pretty easy choice because you know what you're going to get. Everywhere else along the way, I just take a little bit of everybody, because there's not any one player once I get to 109 that I just think is a lead pipe cinch lock like I think the top 8 are. So I'm just diversifying. Little Ladd here, little Coleman there, little just like I said, just I've done so many drafts so far that I'm just trying to diversify.
But yeah, in the players that you're picking, like you said, Josh Allen is attached to Coleman, Worthy's attached to Mahomes. I like to think the same way. You're always thinking resale. Before you buy a house, you should be thinking about, all right, what am I going to be able to sell this thing? So that's how I look.
I mean, to cut you off, that's how I look at like everything in Dynasty. It's just like business. Yep. It's like Justin Fields. Justin Fields is the best example. When Russell Wilson's named the starter and he starts week 1 in Pittsburgh, that will be the lowest point. Week 1 of the 2024 season will be the lowest price you can get Justin Fields. And then not if, but when. When they go to Justin Fields, whether it's week 8, week 10, week 11, the Justin Fields fans are going to be like, baby, we are so back. Then you can flip.
Then it's going to be a discipline moment, like a gut check. What am I going to do with my Fields, or am I going to go acquire him? We'll see.
You'll get it.
So let's go to William with the hammer. William the third. Thank you very much. So this is a 12-team single QB, half PPR, start 8, deep bench. We need to make the bench shallower. Okay. Burrow, Stroud at quarterback, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Dobbins at running back, Olave, Puka, Drake, Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Mims, and Tony, and then has Hawk and Joku at tight end. Has the 101, 201, 301. Trade the 101 or a wide receiver. If he trades a wide receiver, which one? And then asks if he should get a running back on this team. So again, it's a single QB, 12-team, half PPR, start 8. So super shallow here. Go ahead, Memphis.
I would be looking, because you're probably not going to get the 102, because if that GM has half a brain cell left, they're going to realize what you want to do, given that you have both Burrow and Stroud. But I'm looking at like the 103, 104. Because if you can get there, then you can still get a wide receiver, but you're going to get something in addition to move back from Caleb Williams. In this case, this is different than the previous trade because that was a shallower league.
This is a single QB.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Just draft Marvin Harrison and move on down the road.
just drive him off the line.
This is a no-brainer. I apologize. I thought it was Superflex. My brain defaults to Superflex. Yeah. Push the button. Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors, whichever you prefer. I don't think you can go wrong with either, and just be done with it.
Yeah, and then asked if he should trade a wide receiver. In this kind of shallow format, you want hammers, as we always say. Burrow, Stroud, yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
And
For
a one
now.
QB, that's great.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just thinking, could you
Rashad
get
White, I'm assuming that's Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones,
J.K.
Dobbins?
Dobbins is like, it's great that he got a job, but
So he
not
has
super.
one.
Puka's great. Drake's fine. Ayuk, Deontay John. I mean, you've got it. I'm with you. You definitely want to get Marvin Harrison, and then I think you want to draft a running back at 201. Maybe
You want running backs in this format historically, half PPR shallow.
Yeah. So you may like 201, depending on how the draft falls. That would be a great spot for Blake Corum, because you've already got J.K. Dobbins. You'd have 2 of the 3 running backs in the what we know is going to be a run. I'm sorry, not Blake Corum. That's the wrong LA team. The Podfather was super high on Vidal.
Yeah, I can't even.
They call him Vidal Sassoon, which for you older folks is a shampoo. Yeah, back in the day. But so yeah, I would just go wide receiver at 1 and then double tap running back at the next 2 picks and hope to hit. If I were to try to flip, the problem is the only wide receiver that's going to get you the big return in trade is going to be Puka, and I don't want to move Puka and Olave.
And that's the problem.
That's the cornerstone.
Yeah, you want to consolidate Deontay Johnson types, even Ayuk, like Ayuk a lot, but you're always trying to consolidate 2-for-1s. But this team is already kind of thin, even in a start 8. So, I mean, everybody's on the block, but I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. and then I don't know. I don't know if this team is there. This team is right on the brink.
Yeah, love the court. I mean, the problem is it's a 1 quarterback, and unless you have like a Burrow or Stroud, just like super fan, you're not going to get a ton. I've been in that boat so many times in 1 QB leagues. It's like you have 2 studs, but
you can't move.
Everybody does
for Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Player Profiler. I'm looking at our rookie rankings. I won't give away the farm. You know, we got bills to pay over here too. But around the 201, that's right in a 1 QB league. That's right in the range where Blake Corum is going. So if you wanted to get a running back at 201, and then others running backs in that area, Kamani Vidal, he would be your 302 if everything went according to this. And then you've got a guy like Jalen Wright and Marshawn Lloyd mixed in there. So I would go wide receiver, your choice, Marvin or Neighbors, and then double tap some of these running backs and see if you can catch lightning in a bottle.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to hit one more from the crowd here, and then we're going to hit one last hammer. And then take off. Yes, sir. Thank you, Memphis, for joining. Shane and Scott were on a roster review beforehand.
Oh,
that's good. Jason was getting a roster review from Shane and Scott.
All right.
So that's I mean, Memphis, I feel like you should give Shane shit though. He's your boy from way back.
I know.
Making you wait, right?
Here's the thing. I'm super easy to get along with. Like I said, it only took 14 weeks to get me here. The most I could do is wait like 8 minutes for the live stream to kick off. It feels like a fair deal. But that will not stop me from giving Shane a bunch of shit.
Oh, we love Shane. Okay.
How do you not?
How do you not? Everybody loves Shane. And everybody's been through all of Shane's life issues too. Not shy about that. Okay, which one am I going to pick here? I am going to go to, let's see here. Who's going to get this one? We're going to do, God, it's very chatty in here. That's always good to see. Yeah, that's always great to see. Let's go to, and Shane, I do see is in the audience here. I saw something.
Love you, Shane.
Talk to me about this, actually.
All right.
Here it is.
Let's do it.
Matt Glore. Here's a really quick one. 1 QB start 8. Trade the 107 and a late 25 first for the 104.
Trade 107.
Isn't it a yes? Because you're just trying to get up as high as you can in a shallow format.
Yes, because more than likely Matt, 104 is going to be your choice of Brock Bowers or your RB1 in this class. You know, the only thing that like makes it tough is if you really, really, really want a wide receiver, because then you got to choose between the three that I mentioned earlier. You got to choose between Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman, and Xavier Worthy at 104. But the thing about a 25 first is that you'll have time in season to recoup one for next year. And in a one QB league, the later the first, the less valuable it is. You know, in a Superflex league, it's more like the NFL draft where like rounds 2 and 3 and everything matters. But in a one QB league, it's like the NBA draft. You get past the lottery picks, it's just a crapshoot from there on out.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's go to this hammer from Danny.
All right, Danny.
Danny is our hammer, our last trade of the evening. Thank you very much. This is let me clear my throat before I do. That was loud behind the mute, for all you know.
That's why the mute buttons exist. That's cough button.
Yeah, I flip up my little headset. I wonder if people think I'm a gamer. I'm not, but I heard it's cool. Danny, thank you for the hammer. It is a 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Lamar, Levis, Darnold at quarterback. Then just has Jalen Warren and trash cans at running back. London T. Jacoby Myers at wide receiver, and then Musgrave at tight end. Has the 101, 111, 201, 205, 211, and 12. He says, do I just take Caleb and tank for one more year or back and split the 101/others? I don't know what that means. Having two top QBs.
It sounds like Danny's wanting to split the 101 into like multiple pieces.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
So this says having 2 top QBs sounds great in the start 9, but feel like getting more assets might be better. What's enough value for splitting Lamar or the 101? Mid-activity league. And then he says teams with the 102 and 103 are both bad and don't have any good QBs, but the 104 has Watson, Stroud. Okay, so the 104 is loaded. Okay, 12-team Superflex start 9. So a shallow format here. Quarterbacks are Lamar, Levis, and Darnold. The main question is, do I take Caleb at 101 and just tank for another year? Are you splitting? Are you making moves?
You know, I think Danny's really sharp. You know, I'm just going to put the listeners of the Dynasty Trades and 5 Hammer stream over like Rover. I think he's really sharp at approaching this from a sharp direction. First of all, you've already got a lottery ticket QB. Now I know Caleb's a lot less of a lottery ticket than Levis, but let's be honest, they're both unproven at this point. Even if you like one pedigree is better than the other. I totally understand that. Yeah, if I could get that 102 and like 202, just keep stacking. You know, just keep stacking because you know I like Dre Ludden and T Higgins, but man, if you let's just say hypothetically the GM at 102 or 103 also had the 202 or 203, then you can turn around and get like that premier wide receiver, Harrison or Neighbors. Then with that 111 or that 201, now you can add that third QB, and it could be like a Bo Nix or you know, Michael Penix. Maybe if you want to wait on Michael Penix, a great one for you to get your hands on would be JJ McCarthy, because you already have Darnold and you could smush those two together. But yeah, I think with Lamar being your one, I know a lot of people are high on Levis. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like if you could get a couple of picks for that 201, maybe you could get like the 202 and a player. I don't know, without seeing everybody's roster in the league, but I think given what your goals are, I don't have it because I don't feel, and let's be honest, even when someone's been the quote unquote can't miss QB1 in a class, a lot of them have missed.
Yes.
Yes, I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan, always have been, but to this point, he's not even been Jared Goff with better hair. He just has it. So these guys, I mean, Larky, when we were at the draft house, the first thing he did about an hour after the draft, FanDuel already had, you know, passing props up on the season for 30 at the time. It was last Thursday, 3,300 and change passing yards. I mean, that's kind of telling you
3,300 and change. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3350, 3375. So, I mean, and if you think that's a bad number, that was on FanDuel. I'm not even a sponsor, but you get my point. That's kind of like the market on him. There's a lot of guys in the league who's going to throw 3,500 passing yards. So I don't think that Caleb Williams, beyond the hype, is as valuable. And I think you've given yourself some other options. So I don't think you have to, but if you're on the clock and the timer's running out and you got to go Caleb Williams, fine, whatever. Maybe Levis hits after all and you can flip Levis in season for something. Or maybe Levis hits and Lamar's having another really good MVP type season. And because like Levis this year, and I know it sounds crazy, could be this year's Jordan Love. First of all, he's getting the exact same offense that made Jordan Love good. The LaFleur offense, that's what Brian Callahan runs because he was a disciple under Sean McVay, just like LaFleur. So he's getting that offense. He's got Calvin Ridley.
Lots of talent on that.
Yes, Calvin Ridley. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, Traylon Burks, Chiga Conquo, that Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard. They have some good pieces, and then they invested in the offensive line. So maybe Levis breaks, and see the Levy breaks is a Led Zeppelin song.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there? But you're going to have options no matter what. So don't feel like you have to make a drastic move right now. I would just start having those conversations. Hey guys, Caleb totally available at the 101. Just put it in the group chat. Totally available. I'm not trying to break the bank. I'm looking for realistic offers because I'm trying to make this team better and see what you get. If the belief is Caleb's the guy, man, it'd be nice to have a couple of Bears fans in your draft, right? It'd be great to have a couple of Bears fans. I think there's a lot of ways you can go.
Yeah, if anything, I would lean kicking back to 25. Wondering if we should tank one more year because it's a little thin, and I'd be looking at that 11,201 and seeing if I can get some more 25 capital personally. I'm not worried about losing Lamar's years. It's just not there. So I'm just not getting too aggressive by doing packaging, even in a shallow start 9. I hear you, man.
And you said something there that really had a good point to it. For me, is that this is a rebuild, and Lamar, I believe, is going into year 6 or 7 of his pro career. Not to say that, he's ready to go out to pasture anytime soon, but maybe he's the guy in season that you move for additional pieces, whatever that ends up being, 25 firsts, young players you really like, because you would have, now this would also depend on Levis hitting or doing well, but then you'd have Caleb and Levis, year 1 and year 2 quarterbacks, and then Lamar, year 7 next year going into year 8. We know that style of quarterback doesn't age super well in the NFL. Maybe Lamar's the one. Maybe you just hit the draft Caleb button and then move Lamar like week 6 when he's like setting the league on fire.
Yeah, I guess maybe I shouldn't have been so flippant. Is that a good word for it? I hang out with Shane a lot, but flippant about saying I didn't want to lose or wasn't worried about losing a Lamar year.
Yeah. No, I don't think you were flippant, but
no, I hear you, man.
I just think there's a lot of things to take into consideration. That's why we talk about dynasty trades in 5, but you just don't make a decision in 5 minutes. You got to think it through. You got to take these trades apart. You got to put them back together, and that's how you win.
That's how you win, baby. Good way to edit. We have 948 people watching us, or as I like to say, 948 eyeballs. Hit that thumbs up, hit the heart, whatever you're seeing in front of you. Memphis, it's always fun talking to you, man. You just make me freaking laugh over here on this side, just smirking like a little school.
It's supposed to be fun, right? It's football. It is. Now we've mentioned a couple of old guy references, and maybe you'll get this one. You remember Ben Stein? The TV show when Ben Stein, dude.
I was never into it, but yeah, I got you.
But if I turn on a podcast, regardless of the topic, and it sounds like Ben Stein, I'm turning the thing off. We're supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be giving you actionable advice that can help your dynasty rosters, while putting a little fun on there. And I want to make one edit. Earlier I said Will Shipley was in Las Vegas. I apologize. I meant Dylan Lowby. Will Shipley's in the
Yep.
Will
Philadelphia.
Shipley. Yeah, he's in the sauce in Philadelphia. So I want to do a way late in the show correction. So of that group earlier, which was Shipley, Bucky Irving, and Ray Davis, I want none of the above. I'm going to go Dylan Lobby there because I want that pass catcher in Las Vegas.
Nice. No, thanks for cleaning it up. Thanks for cleaning that up. Shows you care, man. You're a people's person. Thanks for joining, Memphis. We appreciate it. Everyone in the audience, hit that like. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you. I don't know. We'll see you very soon. We stream every other day, it seems like. See you, everyone.